start counting. Okay, Commander, you're up.
All right, meeting called to order at 5:31 p.m. on Monday, July 6th. Everyone present except for David Worley. And first item of business is approval of the minutes.
Did y'all have a chance to read those?
Yeah.
I did as well.
I make a motion we approve as written.
And I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Be recorded that everyone said aye. All right, visitors and petitioners.
All right, Darlene, you're up.
Well, I'm gonna let Parvin do most
Okay.
of the talking.
Okay.
Since it's the pickleball guru.
State your name, since you're not Darlene Latta, state your name.
This is Parvin Latta.
All right, go ahead.
Okay. Well, first off, thanks for the Parks Board for letting us have a few minutes of your time to talk about a couple of things. But more importantly, we want to thank the Parks Board and the city for the pickleball courts. They are great. The job the contractor did is great, and the courts themselves, of course, are great. They've been used probably more than you might observe. I mean, you see our posts and such, but not only at the tennis courts, at the pickleball courts, but also through where we play at the church when we can. We get a lot of drop-in visitors. We've had people from Kansas, Iowa, Chicago, Wisconsin, Florida, Kansas City. And a lot of these people just kind of drop in. We went to the church one morning, the guy sitting in his pickup out front asleep, and he finally came in after we got there, and he was traveling back from Florida, and he lost track of the time zone change, so he got turned out. We just recently had some visitors. They were camping at the Kentucky Dam Village State Park Campground, and they just kind of went by the course and saw some people playing, and they played with us for about 2
Places
weeks.
to play.
And interesting couple. They have a permanent camper in California. They're traveling the country in a motorhome, and we're going back to Chicago next to sell their home, and we're looking for a place for a permanent home, considering this area and Murray's where they really started. So just some interesting things in there.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the pickleball courts, what we really want to talk to you about today with the darn COVID situation, we would normally be playing inside this time of year, this kind of weather at the church, but the church hasn't opened up. And even that aside, many of our players just aren't comfortable being inside in enclosed areas with other people. Outside, I don't think, like pickleball and golf and tennis and a lot of other activities, bright sunshine, the best disinfectant it is for anything, lots of air and such. So even when the church opens up, I'm not too sure how quick we'll go back there. That being said, it is hot. And playing outside presents its challenges. We have about 10 people coming in the morning to play at 7:30. We get as early start as we can get people out of bed. What we've run into now playing more outside is the heat, which is there, but the need to get away from the heat between games and cool off. And as far as the court's concerned, yes, there's a couple of benches there, but you're still out in the sun. And we've been taking our chairs. We bring our chairs, so we're sitting outside and don't have a crowd on the court anyway. And we're sitting up on the hill towards the country club in our folding chairs up on a ridge.
Mm-hmm.
And that works. It's cool. But you know, we're walking up a little incline, sitting the chairs on top of a little embankment there that's put there for drainage. John's probably familiar with it, maybe the rest of you are too, that keeps the water from the hill, from the countryside coming down, running across the courts. So we're here kind of with an open-ended request that if somebody could, or we glad to work with somebody on it. Is there some way to either provide shade or a better seating area for chairs? We don't know anything about the boundaries or the agreements between the city and the country club and all that kind of stuff. And there's drainage issues up there. You can't just go up and start moving dirt around without consequences or without a plan at least. So that's really our primary thing here tonight, to just see if we could get some interest in. You know, we kind of thought about, well, a little pavilion, kind of like up the other parks, but there is a lot of shade up there, but it's kind of an inconvenient place. The shade from the big oak trees are somewhat behind the parking lot to the courts. And it's kind of hard to keep up when it's time to go back out and play. But at any rate, we're not asking for anything specific. It's just a general comment. And of course, this is equally applicable for tennis players. If any of them come play in the heat, I don't know if anybody really plays tennis much there anymore, or anywhere. It's not just there, anywhere anymore. But that's really what we want to talk about or present to you, with no specific request for an item, because we don't really know what's appropriate with all those variables in there that we're just not familiar with.
I definitely think it's something that we can take a look at for sure and see what might be best fit area.
Yeah. You know, the parking's limited there. Pickleball involves a lot more people than tennis because it's short games and multiple people, whereas, you know, 4 or 8 tennis players might come out and play for 2 or 3 hours in a row as a couple of sets of teams. But with us, we're a higher turnover, so we have is within the game. So parking is pretty limited, and so we can't really mess with that as far as the parking lot's concerned. And kind of secondary to that is restrooms. We have been going up to the country club when we need to, and nobody said it has not been a problem. Nobody's said anything. I don't know anybody pays any attention to us, but we're not sure if that's okay. You'll just kind of come wandering in and go to the bathrooms at the country club or not. And certainly not ask for anybody to build bathrooms down at the tennis courts. That's unreasonable. But that's kind of, again, an open-end question. Is there any kind of understanding or ever how this all came about back in the day when all this came about?
Well, the golf course, I can't speak as much for the country club, the building itself. But I know the golf course is public property and is open to the public. I don't know. Danae, are you a member of the country club?
Yes.
Is that the bathrooms, are they open to the public? I mean, as far as that goes, or do you
I
know?
would think so.
I know there's 1 or 2 rooms that are actually set aside for members.
Yes, right. Right. The lounge, that's separated. Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I think the upstairs is
downstairs. I'm sorry.
open. The upstairs is open to to the public, isn't it?
You used to could go up those back stairs and go upstairs. Now, I don't know if they leave that open all the time, though. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I can find out, though.
Well,
Yes, Marvin.
we go in by the pro shop and the locker room down there. That's where we go.
Okay.
Never even tried to go in upstairs. And like I say, it's not been any issue. Nobody said anything, but if somebody said something, I wouldn't know what the appropriate response would be, except sorry.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I could talk to Tammy about that and find out for sure, but I don't think that would be an issue. We took that over at their request, so surely they could give us at least bathroom privileges up there. I mean, we've taken that over and taken it off their hands, so
I mean,
I'll see if we can get an understanding so that you'll know.
it may be one of those things. It's better to get forgiveness than it is permission. It's what you guys think, okay?
That's right.
Oh, I don't hear that.
Well, those
Not
two
in my
things we're
world,
talking about.
unfortunately.
We try to not keep more than 8 people on the court. Sometime 1 or 2 will go out just to fetch balls for the games that are going on. Sometimes we have 14 plus people playing, so they're up on the hill, uneven. But it's better up above the tennis courts. At least we can watch. We're in the shade, but we can watch.
Mhm.
I don't know, maybe
Yeah.
bleachers, maybe in the
Yeah.
shade. But
Yes,
we
in
usually
the
play in
shade.
the morning
Mhm.
is our concern. Night, you got light, so that's really not an issue at night.
I would like to comment about the lights. Those are excellent lights for night play, 'cause we have played down there at night. We played on a lot of courts that have floodlights, and when you look up to see the ball, you're just blinded. Those are excellent lights down there.
They are. I play tennis out there, and it's like you go to Mike Miller Park, and it's just the wrong height. But here, it's just really nice. Those are really good courts.
Oh, everybody loves the courts. I mean, even when we go to KDM, I mean, there's issues there with that court. But they have picnic tables outside, places to sit, and a little shade if you're not on the court.
Mhm.
Let me look into that and see what we might can do. This may be as simple as putting in a simple picnic table with an umbrella or something like that. But let me take a look and see what we can do. Right now we're kind of covered up, but I'll see if I can pull the parks guys back and see if there's something we can find or something we can do to help out with the shade. Okay.
But
Uh,
either side, there's doors on either side. So if the public is open to the golf course,
You know,
not only the parking side, but the other gate.
Yeah, I was thinking though, back up the hill like you were talking about, because it gives you a good vantage point. And,
Oh, it's
and-
great watching.
Yeah. And
It's-
is access the issue there, or is it? I mean,
Well,
the
it's-
shade's there, obviously.
yeah,
It's
you
rocky.
walk across, you go up, not a real steep grade, but it's there. It's not level. Maybe
Uh-huh.
just flatten out a spot. As far as picnic tables, that'd be nice, but especially since everybody has to social distance, we have to kind of spread out. And there's nothing wrong if we want to put some picnic tables out there, but I'm not sure if that
Right.
helps any. I'd be glad to go with you, John, or whoever wants to go down and just kind of see what our interests are. And it may not be anything reasonable.
Okay.
Expensive.
Maybe we get a chance Wednesday or Thursday. We can go take a look at it.
Yeah, just give
Okay.
me a shout, and we'll do that.
Okay.
I think it's a great idea, especially even for tennis players that are hot and want to sit somewhere besides their car between matches, just to have a place to kind of cool off. So I definitely think that's a good idea.
We may just have to take a look at access and developing an area that's going to be level enough for chairs, I guess you'd say.
It's more for safety than anything.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah, it
We
is.
bring our own chairs usually.
it's fairly comfortable, but you got to walk up the grass, and it's not a big deal. But it's just not a big deal. But we'd like to somebody could kind of look at it. We'd like to say kind of
Okay.
see our viewpoint. I'll show you our viewpoint on it as far as
Okay.
the location.
Because there are people coming from outside that are, we have this app called Places to Play, and that's where people are finding us. And they're, and then they're looking at the website and seeing Calvert City, and then they see Calvert City Tennis, even though it doesn't say pickleball, tennis and pickleball, it says Calvert City Tennis.
On the signs it's talking about, our post is strictly
Yeah.
pickleball. And it's
Okay.
it's an international posting really, but it's a national posting primarily. We have a lot of contact. We have our email address there, a special one, so it doesn't bother anything else. But we
Yeah.
get contacts that way.
But also on the parks app, it says tennis courts. You say something later about pickleball, but it says tennis courts. And that may not hit everybody
Well,
that court's available for.
Yeah.
where that would come into play, and I don't know if many people do it anymore or not. If you're traveling in the area, you see what's to do in Calvert City, and of course,
Parks.
well, just even what's to do in Calvert City, they find a website. I don't think the website itself directly mentions pickleball. It might, but I really haven't seen it. Now, if you Google Calvert City pickleball, you guys, I don't know if you have any idea how many places that hits, all kinds of organizations find out about it. But I'm just talking about the website. That's more of a marketing question. It's just a matter of putting some words in.
Blair, do you know
Right.
if that's the case, or do we not specify pickleball?
I don't remember seeing it. I was trying to look a while ago and I didn't see it. It mentions the tennis courts.
Tennis courts, and under it, it talks a little bit about pickleball, but it doesn't say tennis and pickleball. It just says tennis courts.
That would be an easy
Yes,
fix.
you're right.
Yeah.
We can easily change that.
Yeah, that's an easy fix. We can do
Yeah.
that.
And you know, we're not playing at all at the church, and it says church on Saturday. We play at the church on Saturday. You know, it's best just to contact somebody on days you play or something.
Well, that's the way the app's set up. If anybody, they contact us for local player schedule, because we don't play every day, whether nobody around, whatever it might be.
But since they are public, we're playing a lot more than Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, any questions, or like I say, John, you got my number somewhere, or we're in the Calvert City phone book. It rings to Darlene's phone, so be glad to walk around, kick some grass and dirt with you.
Let me see if I can get Brad off of his equipment for a couple of minutes, and we'll see if we can meet you out there and take a look, see if there's something we can come up with. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Sounds
All right.
good.
Thank you all so much.
All right.
Alrighty.
Yeah, thank you for
Thank you.
being here.
We are probably gonna leave.
Okay.
Oh, come on.
Sorry.
I think I know how to do it. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, moving on to old business.
Okay. Updates. We have completed the lights at Memorial Park, the 4 installs that we had. We've got those completed. The budget, pretty much, there was nothing that you guys asked for that they turned down. So everything that was in the budget that you suggested or requested is in there. We've already started on the Civic Center. We've already demoed the interior. We've demoed the parking lot. We should be done with the base of the parking lot within the next day or so if the weather holds. So they're putting up the walls right now, and the electrical is going in. Plumbers will be there shortly. Atmos is going to move the gas meter from the front to it'll be on the west side, but it'll be on that north corner toward the back. They won't put it in the back for whatever reason, but they will put it there on that one corner. So that's where it's going to go. You're going to have an 8-foot walk around on the west, which is the library, the south, which is the old parking lot we're working on, and on the east side, going back to the back door, the north door now. We'll be ordering our windows and doors this week. That is if our window folks come in. So we've gotten electrician, plumber, that. We didn't need permits. None of this is structural. It's all cosmetic. And so therefore we don't have to have any building permits. Cat did ask for a couple of upgrades on our exit lighting and exit signs, which is no biggie. That's easily taken care of. We've got we'll have 7 new windows. We were going to take the window out of the front that was existing and just take that one over and put it in on the east side. They put that window in very well. We managed to get the glass panels out without damage. The rest of it didn't survive.
Oh, no.
So we're going to have to reframe the glass, but we do have the glass still, and it'll fit there on the east side. So we'll get that. That's going to be a different window, different size window than the rest of them. That one's 56 inches. It's 4 foot 8 inches, where the rest of them are going to be 4 feet tall. And then all the windows, with the exception of where that one came out, will be 6 feet in length. That one's 8. And the window that's going back in will be an 8-footer as far as that goes, but it will also be a 3-panel, just like the others, 4 foot tall. It's just gonna have to be 2 foot longer than the others, because that way we don't have to refill in the hole.
Oh, yeah.
It'll just fit better. Then we've got 2 more doors going on the west side and 1 small pane, window pane, and back in Blair's office area. So we're actually going to have underground power going to it. We will have a little patio, and I mislaid the first HVAC. It's actually closer to the north door than I thought it was. So we're going to have to go back and revisit the fencing. I'm not going to fence all of that area because it just swallows it up. We might consider going around the units
Chairman.
as opposed to enclosing the 2.
I thought there's no meeting today. What is Susie on a call?
What am I hearing?
It was
Oh,
from
it's
David.
Thank you. All right, okay. So that's where we stand on that particular portion of it. And then really at this point in time, between that and the mowing, we really don't have a lot of time for anything else. And ball season's coming in, so we've got the 3 guys working the ball fields, because I think it's supposed to start tomorrow. They're working the ball fields and mowing the grass and everything. But the rest of the guys are wrapped up in either mowing the right of ways or working on this project for the Civic Center. But the game plan is to have the Civic Center done. My game plan is to have it done by the 1st of September. That gives me a month and a half for anything that might, be a holdup. So, but I've got it set right now where we should be, if everything fell in place or falls in place the way we want it to, and Jeff, you can tell me that that's a pipe dream, I know, but but if we can get it all to fall in place the way we want to, we should be done by September, by the 1st of September or the middle of September. That gives me almost another month of catch up if we need to before the wedding reception that was scheduled up for October, mid-October. Will be there. My intention is to have it ready before that reception. That's the only thing we've got reserved between now and then.
That's good.
Or between now and the end of the year. So
That sounds great.
So we're trying to get that knocked out, and we're on a fast timeline, or time track on that one. I think what else. I will be ordering here in the next week or so. I'm getting quotes, but I'll be ordering the tables for down at the pavilion, the new pavilion.
Mm-hmm.
And I may have to get the panels are going to be a little more difficult, I assume. I'm going to see what I can come up with. See if we're going to try to go with the panels that roll up, roll down, or if we're going to try to get just the curtain type material. I have a deep feeling that I'm going to be better off going with something that is affixed to the building and rolls up, rolls down, instead of being dismantled and moved and then brought back in and reassembled. I think whatever it is that we're going to use will last longer if we utilize it under that situation or that way. We'll see. Lions Club is going to purchase 2 of the 2 handicap tables for the pavilion. So that means we'll purchase the other 5. We've got money in the budget for that. I may be drawing a blank, but that's all I've got at the moment that I can think of. If there's something else that you guys are thinking about, please bring it forward. Let me jog my memory.
Everything's looking good. I've been in the parks a lot not a lot, but more than I am usually this summer. And I'm just It looks great. Everything's looking good. Every time I drive by the old park, I'm just like, yes, you know, we're getting there.
Yes.
Definitely. We're really getting there with it.
Yeah, it's looking really, really good down there. I mean, that place is turning into one of our bright spots.
It is.
So, we will be working with the gentleman from IMBA on the layout for the trail.
Mm-hmm.
I really think that between Brad and I know that motocross and mountain biking is not the same, but it has a similar. But Garrett, Blair's husband, is a mountain biker, and I think, and they're both of them are equipment operators. So I think that with a little consulting, they're going to be able to handle that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Now, Danae, Cammie, David, you've completed the surveys, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Jeff, have you had a chance?
I didn't do it till after the email. You sent those emails the other night, but I did it yesterday, the day before. Yeah, I finished.
Thank you very much. That's got all, I haven't heard from David Worley, but
I couldn't get
I thought you all had pretty well taken care of that, and I want to thank you for that.
That later.
Okay. So I guess everybody here basically has done the survey, so that's helpful. I'll let you guys know when we get ready to meet with the Chastain and Associate on the review. We'll pretty much handle it like we did last time. I think you'll come in, we'll go over what people have said, and we'll see what we can work with and help us see about moving forward from that. We've pretty much moved forward on everything that we have talked about. And today I know you guys were involved with that, but I think almost everything we talked about in that last 5-year plan is pretty well, strategic plan has pretty much been handled.
Oh, yeah.
So we're still moving forward. The other one, the walking trail or the multi-use trail, we're still moving forward. We've submitted the engineers have submitted the environmental. It's back at the state. So we'll see how long it takes to come back to us. And we go to, and so we can, because we can't move forward until we actually get okay, you may proceed. We have to have that. Anything we do prior to getting that you may proceed notice means that it's out of our pocket, and the state and the feds won't pay for it. It's quite a unique plan or fund, I should say. It's not a grant, it is a fund. We are reimbursed up to 80% of what we spend, and that's how it works. They don't just give us the money and say, here, go play. So
Right.
You know, can you hear me now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I was having some issues while I was driving, sorry. On the median going up toward Kentucky Lake, are we mowing the middle part? Or
we're not mowing any of it yet. It's not ours at the moment. We are mowing the interchange at exit 27. That means from Kennedy from Kennedy all the way over to Truck Plaza Lane. That's all we're mowing. We haven't got the other yet. I don't want that until they've got it done.
Okay, I was kind of wondering because I know that they had let it grow up pretty high. So
Yeah.
We had to make several phone calls to get something done. So
okay.
In actuality, I think. Go ahead.
That way, when people in the community ask us about it, we can tell them that it's the state and it's not the city that's taken care of it.
That's what I was telling people, and I thought that was true, but I wanted to make sure too.
You're correct.
Just so we can be clear, it's the state's now, but it will be ours at some point, is what you're saying?
Not exactly. We will. It's in our agreement that we'll maintain it, mow it, take care of the plantings, et cetera, but it's still the state's and state property. It's not city property. It's just that because we agreed that we would take on the normal care of it if they would put it in.
Okay.
So
and when will that switch over?
When they're done.
Okay.
We expected to get the interchange last year. We didn't get it till this year.
Okay.
So, I mean, we're just now started. I mean, I had a contract with a guy last year, and luckily for us, he didn't change anything. And so we just kept the contract, and he started mowing it this year. And he's
And I
done a pretty good
noticed
job.
looking a lot better this year too.
Yeah. Well, they're using a ZTR. Once you get it down to a certain level, if you hit it with a ZTR, you can get done a whole lot faster than you can with a bush hog.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah,
but
it
we're
looks
paying a
great.
chunk of change for that too. That's an expensive mow. But there's a lot of things that go with that. And I expect that 62 is going to be just as expensive. So,
Yeah, I can imagine that. Something I asked earlier, but I was muted while I was driving. Sorry. On the Civic Center, when we repave that, will it be low enough to drain properly and not have any
That's the
backflow
whole-
flooding issues?
yeah, that was the whole point in taking it out like we did. We took it out and we're putting in a new base because the base that was in there, oh, good heavens. Anyway, we're putting in a whole new base. It's probably it's a foot or better of dense grade. So it's going to drain, one, and then two, our grade will be set up to where it's going to break in two different directions. It'll break toward Park Road, and then part of it will break toward the hillside.
Okay.
So, but it will sheet flow away from that. We're also putting in the sidewalk that goes around, that wraps around. It's going to be 6 inches. That's going to be a 6-inch concrete pour. So it'll be like a curb to the parking lot. So the water will not go from the parking lot to the building.
That's good.
And then at the building, when we put the building in, we're going to go back. We're going to work on the block that's there. Now, get the block itself that's there is purely, it's a veneer in itself. It's not, that's block, it's been turned up on its side. It is not supporting anything. There is no support that it gives. Everything that is supporting on that building is those steel stanchions that are inside the building.
Hmm.
And everything else is a facade. So we're going to go back in, we're going to reinforce that backing or the block down at that 2 foot down at the bottom. We're going to reinforce that. And then we're going to put a membrane material, adhesive or something that goes on there that will help waterproof that. And then we will go back with our new stone veneer
Yeah.
and put that stone veneer down at the bottom.
Yes.
That stone veneer, we picked a color called sterling, and it actually has grays and tan. And it's a combination where you could go any direction you want to go down the road in the future. If you want to go back to a tan, you can do that. If you want to stay with a gray, you can do that. You can change colors, but it will match. The block or stone itself will have a wide variety of options as far as painting goes of the building.
That's great.
And the vinyl flooring that we're going to put inside the main hallway, and then everything from the main hallway back toward the west, the classroom, the hallway, the catering room, and Blair's office will be a tile of some sort that also mimics that stone in color pattern, so that it doesn't really matter what you want to do with color. That flooring will still hold that or still work with it. So you can go browns or you can go grays,
That's smart.
however you want to go. So, and we're putting in new electrical outlets and everything to add to, I mean, I think there was very few outlets in the main hall. We're going to put 5 just on that. There's going to be 10 outlets on that new wall going in there that creates that hallway.
Yeah.
5 on the hallway side and 5 on the main hall side.
Okay.
And that will actually meet code for that new wall and actually give more plugins for that possibility. It'll have 2 double doors that are glass doors off the main hall after the hallway into the main hall.
Mm-hmm.
So that you can go in from 2 different directions or come in, you've got extra outlets and stuff. So the one will be lined up with the hallway going to the caterers. The other one will be offset from the female bathroom entrance. It'll be offset so that you're not actually looking right at the door, but when you go through, it'll be just off to your right, catty corner a little bit. So it gives you double doors, plenty of entrance and exit, but it also gives you that barrier so that people can move through and not interrupt what's going on in the main hall.
Yes, so smart.
Yeah, that's good.
Very needed.
Mhm.
So, and then we'll also, we're gonna put, or insulate and put a double wall in that, storage room with lighting, and we're gonna put it's gonna be a membrane roof on that one. But that will give us some insulation in there, that'll help seal that room from termite or critters, termites, from critters. And, that will allow us to also, it won't be like walking into an oven or walking into a freezer to get the chairs. So
That's nice.
Hmm.
that's probably more than you wanted to know, David, but there you go.
No, and I have a
Great.
question. I
No.
can't remember. I can't remember if there was anything being done with the ceiling. Or is it staying the same?
No, what we will do is we're gonna replace the lights that are in there with an LED upgrade. But we're not changing the ceiling because there's not enough to fool with.
Okay.
And it's gonna be more costly to go without that hanging ceiling than it will be to tear that out and redo everything.
Yeah. And just that roof is so low.
Yes, that's exactly, that's the problem.
It's not going to make a huge difference probably.
It won't, because you're not gonna have, I mean, there's maybe a couple of feet in the very center, but to get that to line out, it's not gonna look right, and it's gonna take away from
Hmm.
a lot of the aesthetics. Having that
Yeah.
light colored ceiling, even though it's not the nicest in the world, if we can make sure it's not, not leaking and staining, then
Yeah.
we might do something in the future with the tiles that are there.
Yeah. And so the exposed ceiling is just not, I don't even know what would be under that. I mean, above the tile.
It's all been sprayed with something that's it's ugly and nasty, and it's,
Okay.
like I said, we don't have the budget, really. We didn't get into a budget that would actually redo that ceiling
Okay.
because it was so
Yeah, was it
functional. Now,
sprayed?
down the road, maybe if we come up with something better, but we lose the insulation that we've got now.
That's true.
Because we can hide the insulation now. We're not
Yeah.
gonna be able to if we pull that down.
If you expose it, yeah, and because we did that in one of our rooms in our basement, is we took out the ceiling and we sprayed it all white. And I will say it looks good, like I like it, but I can hear every single thing upstairs. So I know that with that insulation not being there, you would have like a heating air problem.
Yeah.
So something to think about, but probably wouldn't work out.
No. If we had another ceiling or another floor above that, then we might have the ability to create some sort of a barrier in between there that would allow us to do that. But we really don't at this time have the ability to not and still be able to insulate it the way we need to keep it, keep the cost down, energy costs down.
Right.
So.
Well, I'm excited about the Civic Center.
Mhm.
I think it's
Yeah.
smart.
They're doing a good job. If you get a chance, sometime just drop down there and let somebody give you a tour. Don't ask Bob to. I need him to stay on track.
Anybody but Bob want to take me around?
I'll come down there and show you around. Okay.
Okay.
Just give me a call. I'll show you around.
All right.
Bob loves to talk about the project. He really does. He's beside himself. He really loves what he does, and he does a fine job. But so,
You need him to
but
stay long.
I need him focused on what he needs to do.
That's right.
So, got any
Underneath
other
it, it's got
questions, guys?
fireproofing.
As far as next year or next month, I'd like to say we can meet in person. I'd love to, but I don't know how things are going to continue to pan out. Right now, we're still not open to the public. I mean, we do work with the public. If they come up there, we'll try to go outside, meet with them or something of that nature. But right now, public's not really coming in unless they have something specific, like a technical issue that they're working on for us. And even with that, we're asking those that come in to wear masks when they do come in. Whenever our staff leaves their seat, they put a mask on to go anywhere else in the building. So we're trying to keep that safe as we can for everybody.
Right. Well, it could be a long
I've got a
time.
buddy that just got released from a ventilator last week, and I haven't heard anything from him since, but they did take him off the ventilator. He had the coronavirus. He was down in the southern part of the state near Tennessee. So,
Wow.
But at least he's gone long enough and far enough that the ventilator could come off. So
Yeah.
that's a blessing.
Yeah.
It's amazing how some people can be asymptomatic and other people it's devastating.
I know. I
It
was
is-
worried about him because I mean he's an older fella. He just lost his wife of I don't know how many years those two have been together, and I really was worried about him. So, but he's coming along. He's doing well. I'm glad to hear it. So,
Any new business?
Danae, did you have something?
No, it was the Darlene Latta. She had just contacted me, so I was just making sure she was going to be here.
I don't have any.
pretty much, unless you guys have something else, everything I was talked about in this last half hour is the only new business I've got.
Okay. Motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting adjourned at 6:12 p.m.
Wow.
Guys, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I appreciate you hanging in there with us on Zoom. So.
Thank you, Blair.
Appreciate it, guys.
all
Y'all
right.
stay safe.
Bye-bye.
Good to see you
Bye.
all.